Hello everybody, Brad Pointer here, and today I'm driving home from work in my little truck. I wanted to talk to you guys today about something that is kind of all up in the media right now, and that is the fact, sorry there, you got away from me. Wait just a minute, I usually do this before I start talking, but it broke loose. Oh crap. What I want to talk to you guys about is the fact that nobody believes each other anymore. And, you know, not that we should believe everything that we hear, but nobody believes anything anymore unless they already believe it. There's no, there's none of this going on where you got, oh crap, okay, sorry, I didn't realize that was a thing. I will get back in my place. I'm not going to pull ahead of anyone. I just want to get into my place. Can you please let me get into my place? Thank you. I am getting over now. Sorry guys, we have a traffic malfunction. So anyway, and see that I didn't cut. Well, you didn't see it, but I didn't cut in front of people just because I'd already picked the wrong lane, and that lane is closed. And instead of going all the way up to the front, I stopped where I was as soon as I realized it and got into place. Thank you very much, by the way, to this kind human who decided to let me in. Okay, back on track. Nobody believes anybody anymore unless they already believe what the person was talking about. Oh, that bright light. Let's see. Oh, man. Man, the light's right where there we go, where the sun is. Okay, so no, I'm not Heil Hitler or anything right now. I am absolutely trying to not burn my retinas to death while still keeping an eye on the traffic light. But here's the thing. How are we going to get through this? How can we ever hope to mend fences when neither side will believe anything that the other side has said because of all the lies that we've been told throughout the years? You know, I mean, we can't even agree when 95, 99, whatever it is, percent of scientists say, hey, this is happening. You know, one scientist says, no, we're not. And everybody who doesn't want to believe it believes the one scientist says, nope, not happening. I don't know what to say at that point. You know, it's like, well, let's look at this, where this one scientist come from. Oh, they're paid by the people who wouldn't want the other scientists to be right. Well, maybe we can discredit them. But anyway, you know, that's beside the point. Everything, you know, we've got even fake news sites. Now, something that came out today is that Google, God bless Google, they are going to stop paying their Adsense. You know, they have one of their big sources of revenue, maybe their biggest, I'm not sure, but is a thing called Adsense, where a website can sign up to Adsense and then Google takes care of the ads for it. You know, you just put places on there where AdSense can pop up and you'll see it, little ads that say powered by AdSense. Then the website person doesn't have to go out and solicit all these different companies and say, hey, you know, do you want to advertise on my site? I mean, they can still do that too. I mean, that doesn't make it exclusive, I don't think, but it just makes it easier for a company to have a website or a person, an individual, whatever, to have a website and have ads and generate money based on page views. But what Google is doing is they are on sites that they know are not real. Like, I mean, on that aren't real journalistic places. a main example right now that's going around is the Denver Guardian, which, the Denver Post made an article in their newspaper saying, hey, guess what? The Denver Guardian doesn't exist. And the Denver Guardian kind of got into the big hubbub because they made up completely out of whole cloth the fact that Donald Trump had won the popular vote. When, if you go to the actual official websites, it's easy to see that, well, he's, 400 and something thousand or more by now underneath Hillary in the popular vote. But once again, 500,000 shares on Facebook. And a lot of those shares were included with things like, this is how the media lies to you. And, it's not really, and people don't check their sources. People don't fact check. I mean, they see something that is something that they believe in, they just go with it. Okay. I already believe that this X is wrong, so this website that totally says X is wrong, I'm going to post it. Well, Google's saying, well, you can still have your site, and you can still get search results, and people will still come see it, but we are not going to participate. It's totally in their right as a company, to refuse service to anyone based on whatever. And this is, legit. They want to say, no, you can make this site, but we're not going to help you make money off of it. So if you want to do that, you can't be, if you want to paste fake news stories just to get views, because people who are going to believe that, people who are inclined to believe this fake story, they're going to post it someplace else, share it, so somebody else sees it, they're going to click on your site, they're going to be there, you're going to have ads all over the side of it, but they're not going to be Adsense ads, okay? That's what they're saying. Now, some people, of course, anytime something like this happens, especially people who happen to prescribe to this kind of fake news things that are going around, they're screaming, of course, about censorship. It's not censorship. This is a company deciding to refuse their ad service, which goes out and says, hey, Midol or Tylenol or Cabela's or whatever, we'll sell ads on all these different sites, and Cabela's will put your stuff on hunting sites, and Midol will put your stuff on women's health sites, and they kind of give you an easy way, so you don't have to go out and if you're running a hunting blog, you don't have to go out and say, hey, Cabela's, can you, would you like to advertise on my site? Cabela's is just like, well, we're paying for 100,000 ads on the internet. They'll show up somewhere on relevant sites. So, totally not censorship. Google's not blocking the search results. They're not, any more than they already have been by tweaking their algorithms. You're not going to see, Brad's vlog when you pull up, some relevant news thing. It's going to be probably a major news site and probably one that has things. And I'm not a news person. I'm just sharing this with you because I find it interesting. Especially considering what I've been thinking about lately, the past few days. We don't believe one another anymore. That we don't trust one another. And I'm not saying that we should blindly trust, but there are times when someone is trying to you know, help you understand, help other people understand the views that they have. You know, help people to say, hey, you know, right or wrong, this is why this group believes this, you know, or this is why this group feels that way, or this is why this particular thing is a bad idea, you know, and people won't believe it. People just won't believe it unless it's already something that they believe. And if they already believe something, then they will share it whether it's true or not. Even if in the back of their mind they're like, well, I don't know. I don't feel like Donald Trump ever really had sex with a camel, but I really don't like Donald Trump, so I'm going to share this that says, you know, this that's talking about his illicit affair with a actual camel. It's the same thing with Hillary, you know, all the things that were said, oh, this and that and whatever, you know. People say, oh, well, this just came from the Hillary's blah, blah, blah thing, and it's like, you know, talking about here's, you know, this classified information, you know, and it's like, wait a minute. If it's classified, if it's still classified, even if she did share it, they wouldn't have shared it with you guys to say, hey, here's the proof. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for just a minute. FBI is not going to share a classified email to prove that Hillary Clinton shared classified emails. I mean, that's what we got to think. We got to think, people. We got to think. Think before you post something just because you believe it. You know, just because you agree with it. Think about it. What does this mean? You know, it's kind of like back a couple of years ago, and it's still going around, but there's this thing like, you know, border security, you know, in North Korea and Iran, and they don't, these, you know, all these, you know, basically these very hardcore oppressive regimes that they were comparing, and they were saying, if these guys have border security, why can't we? Really? You want America to be more like North Korea? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I don't think that that's a good idea, guys. You know, it's kind of like when Trump's talking about, you know, easing up the restrictions on libel lawsuits against publications. You know, so if somebody breaks a story on you that you don't want, you can sue them for libel. And then it's up to the court to decide whether or not it was the truth or not. I don't know, man. I don't know, because then by that time, the reputation of the journalist or whatever is already you know, shot at that point. You know. So that's my thoughts on some of that stuff. That's one of my worries about a Trump presidency, is the fact that, you know, our freedom of speech and our freedom of the press and our freedoms to assemble are going to be whittled down, if not completely removed. They'll still be there on paper, but there'll be other paper that kind of takes those rights away while still showing them on paper. And those are the kind of things that I worry about in any presidency, really, but especially in Trump, because he has a long history of suing people that try to expose him in his business dealings. You know, you can't tell people that I shafted you, but that's liable. Well, you did shaft me. Well, you still can't say it because I'll sue you. Wow. Sued for the truth. And I'm afraid that's going to become the rule, you know. So to make that easier for people to do, you know, it's kind of like the YouTube content claim system, where you're guilty until proven innocent. And those are the kind of that's a company. It's not a matter of your First Amendment rights. So they can choose to deal with those things however they want to. Just because you have the right to say something doesn't mean that you have the right to say something on YouTube. Okay? Those are two separate things. YouTube is a company that determines what is said on their site. They are not, and just like news, CNN is a company who decides what is said on their channel, So, yeah, you hope that they are, forthcoming. You hope that Fox News is forthcoming and honest in their reporting, but they don't have to be. They don't. There's nothing in in U.S. law that says a news site has to tell you the truth, and that's straight up. There isn't. You can't say, oh, well, they lied to us, or they manipulated us, or they twisted the facts to make it look something. There's no law that says they can't do any of that. That's the sad truth. Now, that's why you don't see these fake news sites where there's actual lies and deceit going on to manipulate things. There's nothing that the government can really do to stop it. Even if they say this is real news and it's a total lie, there's no law against it. It's scary. Nobody has to tell anybody the truth anymore. And so that is a major thing that contributes to the fact that we don't trust each other anymore. And how are we going to get past that? Well, I don't know. You guys tell me, tell me what you think. And as always, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then like it. And I will catch y'all on the spatula side. Peace.